How you doing, sir?
Hot and tired, but other than that, all is good.
Tired. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I,
I
I
guess it's
am.
like midnight for you, right? So,
It is. Well, also, I've been waking up earlier just because it's like really in the full swing of summer now. So it'll not only be bright but very hot in the mornings. So
yeah. Okay.
it's been good for running, not so good for sleeping.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So, how is your life, sir?
other than the aforementioned summer heat and
Yeah.
100% humidity, because I live on a semi-tropical island, it's been going pretty good.
hmm
Let's see here. I got a pretty big video published related to Reactor. It's basically got all that stuff done. All I need to do is deploy it,
Do we have a website?
and
We're going to have a website.
it's not deployed, but yeah, it's
Oh,
basically done. So
so
it's
close. So close.
it turned out like it was a lot more code than normally in one of my videos. So
Ah.
I just did a walkthrough instead of like typing out everything and screencasting everything. I think it works fairly well because not that much is different doing auth with live view than auth with a traditional app. So
So,
some
what
repetition.
what took the extra code? What was the bottleneck?
Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't like an extra bottleneck. It's just I wrote an auth plug and a session controller, and I updated some things in the database. Then I set up token
It's just all
based
the stuff.
login.
The
Yeah,
stuff
just
it takes.
all this stuff. Like the one extra thing for Phoenix Live View auth, which you would have with like any front end based auth, is you've got to have like you can't really do the auth from the front end because you want to have access to all the things on the server so you don't lose your login session as soon as you go to anything rendered from the back end. So what I do is I log them. Like if I create a user and want to redirect them to their user page and have them be logged in for the whole app, I just create the user and then I create a token for them and then redirect them to a backend route that logs them in with that token and then redirects back to the live view thing. And live view is basically just JavaScript all generated from Elixir and all the communication done with channels. So it's
Okay,
kind of like
cool. Nice. Well, super excited to get it up. So
stuff.
is that a
Yeah,
goal for like next episode? We'll
just
have a
deploy
site.
it. Yeah, I just got to deploy it.
Okay, great. And then
I
let's also we'll get it plugged into the domain reactor.am and also get an email address working.
I think email. Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
haven't thought about that too much. I
Okay.
think you already pointed the domain at my
Oh, did I?
DigitalOcean account. I think so.
Oh, okay, cool. And
I
well, so we've got to get email working as well, and,
Yeah.
and then we're good to go. I mean, we'll have a website, and I can tell people go to reactor.am.
What do you want to do for email?
Just do like hosts at reactor.am or something.
I mean the email account itself. Like, are we going to run our own mail server or like
Whatever's the easiest. I mean, something. If I'm going through easy DNS, I can't remember
Gmail or Fastmail or something like that?
something. Just something super simple. Just redirect.
Okay.
So like, maybe we can do a redirect to. So the way that there's a few ways I've done it fast. One of them is if you use easy DNS, it just lets you redirect directly from there to anywhere. If you use GoDaddy, they've got a few emailing forwarders that you can use directly from the domain. So that probably would be the easiest one of those two.
What you use to register the domain?
Probably GoDaddy. I can't remember.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll leave that part to you to
Okay.
see
I'll
which
do
domain it
email.
was and what makes sense for email.
Yeah, sure. I'll yeah. I mean, basically, we just need a redirect. I mean, we did try doing a redirect on texting in the first place, and there's some ways of doing a redirect where it just gets caught in Google spam, and you never get anything.
I think that's getting harder.
Yeah.
Google is starting to complain about my Amazon SES transactional mails, even though I have a 40% open rate. Come on.
So I would love to talk about my life as a carrot farmer.
Yes. Oh no. Okay. That sounds like a high glucose diet.
No, nothing to do with the high glucose diet. My life as a carrot farmer in
Virtual.
Roblox Skyblocks.
Yes. Oh dear.
So where was I the last time I spoke to you about this? What had I gotten up to with that?
Let's see. You talked about Skyblocks and like the Battleship game, and then you talked about leveling up and how you
Okay. So
re-edited the picture.
I really wanted, so with carrot farming, I really wanted to get so that we were making millions of bucks in the Skyblocks game.
So that's familiar. Yeah.
So what I did was so I've got a progress update between last episode and this episode about being a carrot farmer. So what I did was I built like a farm building of 4 levels, right? Imagine that was kind of shaped like a cross. And in the middle of each level was a conveyor belt going into one hole. And so there was 4, so every level had 4 conveyor belts going in. The carrots would automatically grow, go onto the conveyor belts, go into the middle hole, fall down the middle of the whole building, and get captured in a chest at the bottom. And then I could open the chest and use an auto clicker to just run all night and collect these carrots.
You did tell me this. I remember that because it reminded me of a different game.
So I got to the point in this last week. So I captured essentially 10,000 carrots a night the last time I spoke to you. Mm-hmm. Well, now I got it up to 40,000 carrots a night by building 4 layers like this. Right?
Is there anything you can do in game to replace the auto clicker?
No, there's nothing. But hear me out. Right. I got to that point where every carrot you can sell for essentially 25 coins, $25. I call them bucks. So in other words, 40,000 carrots makes $1 million a night, which is pretty sweet. So the day after I got this arranged and set up, they did a game update, and carrots that came out this way.
Oh, I thought they were going to bust you on the auto clicker.
They didn't bust me. They did a game update, and instead of carrots being ready for sale for $25, they changed it so that the carrots became dirty carrots. So they were oily carrots, and you have to run them through a washing process to make them worth the $25.
So just update your factory.
So they're only worth $10 instead of 25. But here's the thing, to make them look dirty, they didn't do a bitmap because it's a 3D game, right? They didn't do like a bitmap projection onto the carrots like they do on bricks,
like
for
texture mapping.
Yeah, they didn't do texture mapping. What they did was I guess they added about 10 new kind of 3D bumps to each carrot. So that's a lot of triangles. Like we just used to be 1 triangle per carrot kind of thing, and now it's like 10. So the same effort is driving my PC up to like 200, 300% CPU, So I found an app that is installable by Homebrew called App Police. And with App Police, you can basically throttle the process time of any process. So I turned it down to 25% so that it was maxing out at 25%, and it runs beautifully. Well, it runs terribly to look at, but the thing is, I guess their generation algorithm is based on time. It's not based on frame rate.
So it doesn't slow down your mining.
Doesn't slow down the mining in the slightest. So I've got the computer running at like 20% CPU. The fan isn't even going off.
Oh, that's great.
And they've increased because they know that you've got to go through this process of like cleaning the carrots. They've increased the rate. So now I'm mining 65,000 carrots a night.
Jeez. Wow, that's great. I was actually just talking to my buddy the other day how horrible Apple GPUs are.
Oh yeah, so bad.
So I got one of like the new Mac Minis, which is a significant processor upgrade. It's like as good as the MacBook Pros, and I got like the not the cheapest one. I got the better processor. But when I record like an hour of video for Alchemist Camp, it takes me literally like 4 times longer to like render the video with Shotcut on my Mac as it does on my Asus that cost me, was it like 16,000 NT, so like $530 in 2016.
What?
just and like everything else in that Asus, it's also a laptop as opposed to like a miniature desktop like the Mac Mini. Everything else in the Asus is inferior. It just has like an okay graphics card.
It's weird. Like the Mac graphics card is just so bad. It's very
I
strange.
think there was like some Steve Jobs or somebody at Apple had like a feud with Nvidia. I think it was Steve Jobs. I think it's like an old thing. Like they
Okay,
just won't use Nvidia cards.
interesting.
Some stupid thing like that. But as a result, like it's this integrated Intel graphic card, and I think you're supposed to get an external one, and just because the Thunderbolt 3 is so fast, you can have like an external GPU.
Can I wrap up my carrot farming piece?
Yeah.
So
You don't need this. You don't need a GPU for that, I guess.
so the final thing is that I want to tell you is I knew there was a reason why I was doing this, and it's gone through a lot of iterations to get to this farming a lot of carrots like this. And what it's really made me think about is automated wealth generation versus value-driven wealth generation.
Hmm.
And it's just really made me think about that and brought that into my consciousness about how when you get automation right, it's an exponential factor of wealth generation. I mean, when I first started mining carrots, I mean, I was making a couple of hundred carrots a day.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting 65,000 carrots a day because I've iterated the automative process. And that to me seems like a very good mental model to think about wealth generation in the real world.
That automation lets you get exponential returns.
Just the better your like, so in the first place you do things that don't scale, right? So
Right.
we build a website, we speak with customers, but then the more that you understand about that whole journey, the more you can get just the right pages in front of customers' eyes, the right funnels, the right automation aspects. Like I really think you can take it quite far. So you obviously need the difference between a game like this and the real world is a game like this. You don't need to really generate value. You don't need a product that has any value, but you can
Right.
still use. You can just test out the concept that automation can take you from 200 carats a day to 65,000 carats a day. So in the real world, if you can get a product that has value, you've got a product that has value and takes effort to sell, you could basically work out bit by bit how to create more and more predictable revenue and more automated revenue through your various different systems. I think the perfect Gabriel Weinberg, I think, is quite a good person to think about. Like he's just stepped up his different ways of getting traffic to DuckDuckGo to the point now where it's just so much traffic, and each of those things is just bigger. It's
Yeah.
just more bigger.
He literally wrote the book on it. It was a good book too.
Yeah,
Traction book.
more bigger.
That
Yeah,
could be a book
so
title.
that's what it's got me thinking about is automated wealth generation versus value wealth generation, and just how to apply
Yeah.
those two together.
Yeah, because I guess in the video game, it's more like you're exploiting a market inefficiency, but unlike a real world stock market, it's super inefficient. So it's just like you have this crazy thing like carrots cost 25 no matter what. So
And you can create carrots out of thin air. That's the problem with the game is like so basically you put totems next to conveyor belts and carrots pop up. So your only cost is time.
well, you can kind of yeah. Well, it's kind of like that with YouTube videos though, because I mean, so one thing I've thought of is like
exactly.
the last 3 weeks. It's taken me 2.5 weeks to get out this YouTube video, and this one's doing great and all that. But in that 2.5 weeks, I still gained a couple of three paying customers for Alchemist Camp. And it's just because all my old videos are still out there working for me. I mean, I'm sure they're like trailing off gradually, but
Well, the money. Okay, you could look at this. So you could look at this as pure automated wealth generation for you.
and
So
well,
you actually
audience
get money.
generation,
You get money through
and
ads.
that turns into wealth.
Well, what I'm saying is, you can actually do 100% automated wealth generation on the internet. You already do it because you make some money from ads, just a small amount. So you could go ahead for YouTube ads.
I don't have any of those.
Oh, you don't? Okay, fair enough.
No, no,
Well,
no.
what I'm saying is you could if you want. So, there's a guy in Academy. He's
ConvertKit
got
affiliates.
yeah, through affiliates or through
Got
AdSense
that.
or through different things.
Yeah.
So you could essentially just create wealth, and some people do have like $50,000, $100,000 coming in a month because they've created such a big carrot farm of just like AdSense, YouTube videos, just so much surface area of stuff happening, and I guess they're milking money from the ads. But it's like we discussed last week, you're leaving so much value on the table because you don't actually have a product to sell to those people. Whereas you kind of in the best of both worlds because you're starting to build that big carrot farm, but you also have a product of value to sell, which is fantastic. So
Yeah, I pretty much have to do that. I have qualified to run ads on YouTube, but running the math, I think it was like 6 cents a month or something.
you're right. Yeah.
Like it just like didn't even remotely make sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Anyway, that's sort of my thinking on carrot farm. So it wasn't completely, irrelevant.
No, it's not. I find video games really useful for getting mental models and ideas. And obviously, not everything applies to the world, but you can sure experiment a lot faster than you can, in the real world. So, how are the goals from last week?
Well, I got
The non-carrot farming ones.
I got the boot camp ready to. I got the boot. I'm just trying to one second.
Do you want to, or should I?
No, it's fine. I got
reach out and see if people want to check it out.
Yeah, do sure.
preview
It's
link?
it's
Okay.
not typo. It's not typo. So there's spelling mistakes. Like Laura, who helps me out in the Nugget Startup Academy, she's editing it this week. So
Nice.
by next weekend, it's gonna not have any spelling mistakes and it's gonna have good grammar. But so but I don't mind if you pass it out to people. I mean, that's fine. But a couple of notes that I wanted to bring up about the bootcamp. So it is ready for review. The bootcamp's ready for review. You had a cursory look at it, or did you look at the whole thing?
I looked through to I think 6. Yeah, like the 6th link. So almost all of it.
Oh, okay, cool. What are your thoughts?
Well, I had that one little bit of feedback, just like
Got it. Yeah, I'm going to change that
about the character, and I think it's like they're longer than I thought they would be, but that's maybe not a bad thing at all. Like maybe
is it too much? Is it too high resolution?
No, I wouldn't say that, but I would. It was like I was thinking like, maybe we should break each of these into 3 instead of just 1. And then I was like, wait a minute, no. Like you're specifically trying to not.
But then I couldn't say it was a 7 lesson. Yeah,
but here's what I did think of. So I think it's very good. It is actually is very, like right from the beginning. Like it really made a strong case for what you were saying. And as I was reading, I was like, yeah, like I totally get this. But maybe what you could do related to the length is maybe just give them out at slightly increasing intervals. Like maybe, you get the first one right away, and then the second one the next day, and then the third one the day after that, then the fourth one in 2 days, fifth one 2 days after that, then the last 2 maybe.
Interesting.
3 days.
So not explorable. So how long did it take you to go through it?
It was like more than an hour. It was like I spent like 90 minutes, and I didn't get through it all.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for putting 90 minutes of your life into looking at that. I really appreciate that.
Not a problem.
Second of all, now that I've got it done, I've got a few problems or issues or things to just sort of tell you and discuss with you, brainstorm here, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
But it's going to take a bit of time. So do you want to talk about some of your stuff first and then get into it? Or do you want to...
Let me just tick off my progress from everything really quickly, and then we can go to it.
That's fine.
So let's see. Exercise was pretty good. I got out for 3 runs, and one of them was over an hour, which I hadn't done in a while. So that's definitely progress. Food, I stayed on point because exercise isn't even the main goal anymore. Food, I stayed on point 5 out of 7 days. Goal was
Nice.
6. That's really hard for me, but maybe making some progress. And Alchemist Camp, got a video out as I'd intended to. Got the site basically ready for Reactor, but it's not launched. Still got to deploy it. So I guess that one's a miss. And then
almost
continuing the contract. And I got a bunch of videos made for Reactor. Like I got
more clips.
12. Well, I got 12. Yeah, so I got the full episode of 12 and 13 done, and published 12, and I'm uploading 13 now. And then I made like 5 clips each for 12 and 13.
Okay.
And I haven't put them up yet. Like
so
right
you do
now,
the clips as you go?
So right now, each one I edit. I do the clips as I go. But I've only published clips from episodes 2 and 3. And I'm going to like go through the older ones one at a time and
that's
get clips
cool.
out of them.
How are we doing on subscribers and listeners and things?
On YouTube or on the podcast?
YouTube. How many YouTube subscribers do we have?
YouTube.
Did it go up?
Yes, it did.
What? That's
we
sweet.
Have 16 now.
That's an increase of 4. So it's like we're talking like almost.
Was it? Is it that much?
Yeah, it was 12 last week, wasn't it?
Oh wow. Well, maybe so. And then
maybe
watch
I'm
time
wrong.
Is up to 20 hours for the month, and it looks like the week is up about. Actually, I can't tell quite how much, but it's up a little bit. And the previous week is up a ton.
That's exciting.
So, yeah, it's still super tiny, but it is growing, and I think the clips are probably why. Like there are a few like really diehard fans that were going through the whole thing, but the clips are a lot more approachable.
This view that I'm looking at, I'm an absolute Luddite. I only just discovered how useful gallery view is in Zoom just recently, like within the last couple of weeks. And I'm looking at us in gallery view, and I think this is how we should put the video out moving forward. And they do give me that option as a recording. So I'm going to send you the gallery view next time because it puts both of us next to each other. And
I'm looking at it right now. I just found it.
Yeah. Oh, you're the same as me. And this is just a great view. This would be great view on YouTube. Like much better than just one of our giant faces at one time.
Does it? Yeah, maybe. So I guess it'll narrow each one then. We won't have like a huge black bar at the top and the bottom, right?
I'm guessing we will have a huge black bar at the top and the bottom, but that's still better than. I think it's still better to see both of them. I mean, I don't know. I'll give you both. You choose.
Let's see what it looks like. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's all the
Okay.
updates.
So, well, with me, I mean, everything's the same. I just achieved that one goal, which is getting the bootcamp ready for review. So,
that's a big one.
Yeah. So, about the bootcamp. So there's a few different things to say. One is. This bootcamp is what I really want to say. Like the way that it says it, the case that it makes about how important it is about your personal founder context, and just the way that I build that whole case up is really what I want to say, and it's what I really believe after seeing hundreds of founders fail and a couple succeed. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. Second, like what is my goal for this bootcamp and for Nugget? I'm thinking through that right now. So initially, the reason why I created the bootcamp was because I worked with Matteo, the guy who I'm working with. He created
the accidental sale.
Yeah, the accidental sale. So I did that. Now I've sent it to him, and he said, dude, this is amazing. I love what you've written here. This is like an enhanced version of the first 7 lessons you sent me. He said, but maybe that's a problem. You give all the information here, and I don't know if people would follow through and sign up for Nugget. He said maybe that's a problem because they just wouldn't. It's everything they already need. But then again, he did say, I probably would have signed up for Nugget because I really wanted to dig deeper and go deeper, and I can see that Nugget is a big course. So this is sort of something I'm thinking about. What is the goal here? Now, I would really like to get it so that anyone who signed up to Nugget was super serious and was really understood this foundational stuff, so that those people working in Nugget were like more hardcore than the ones I've been getting so far. In which case, it might be okay the way that it is, because it gives you all the information. 4,000 people in, all the people who would have signed up to Nugget before might necessarily sign up to Nugget now, but other people who are more hardcore might sign up because they really know and trust what I'm saying, and they'd have gone through those 7 lessons. I'll put a speaker at the bottom of each one so they can hear my voice and get to know me. So maybe
I think that is going to do interesting things to sales. Not to derail this, but I mean, I think hearing someone's voice is a huge factor in trusting them enough to buy stuff. Like, I think part of why I have been able to get as many sales as I have on like such a small audience is because it's screencasts and people hear my voice as opposed to like just written tutorials or ebooks or something like that.
Exactly.
And on the giving too much away on Nugget, maybe it depends a bit on the prices, but my inclination is not to worry too much, because I know like Nathan Barry gave away all of Authority, I believe, like that ebook he wrote that he made a ton of money off of way back in the day. And I was on his email list, and I got all of it in email list because he was like sending out every chapter, and I still bought the book. Exactly. Maybe I missed like the first 2 chapters. I don't remember, but I got a lot of stuff, and I still bought the book. So I think if you're getting something that's useful, it's that's probably going to make you more likely to want more.
I agree, and I agree, and I also think it's the same idea as with freemium. You want to give. You want your free product. There's no point in having freemium if your free product doesn't satisfy the need.
Yeah.
Like if it's just frustrating, it's going to make people upset and annoyed.
And it's doubly true for this specific product, because like you're teaching people how to make money. So when they start making money, they have more money to buy the product.
Well, but also taking a step back, like what do I want from Nugget? I feel like I'm in a different space with that than a lot of people are who teach these kind of courses. Like, I far more than money, I want people to be successful. I actually don't care, honestly, about making money from Nugget. Like, it's nice to have some side income from it, but that's not the goal. The goal is to just the pain that I've gone through, taking 25 years to get here, I just want to fast track people so that they can get to this same place in a year, so that they can then build an amazing life in a way that I haven't been able to. That's my passion here. So if 4,000 people are coming in and like only 10 people join the academy, that's good, because so many founders start this stuff and they don't know what they don't know, and they go in a really bad direction for years and years. And I would love to just stop that from happening if possible, as much as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not possible.
You can't totally, but you can at least make it so that once people do the thing you advised against, they recognize it quickly.
Exactly. So that's because they have to learn their own lesson, but now they know what to watch out for, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, he said that. Yeah, that probably is true. Like I showed it to someone, so I'll tell you some of the feedback that I got. I showed it to one guy, and he said if he was starting out, he might not have done it if you'd seen this course, because it sort of showed him the big picture, which he knows now. He knows the big picture now because he's been doing it for 10 years. But if he saw this at the beginning, he might have thought, oh man, I don't think I'm going to become an indie founder.
Why?
Because it's like there's a lot more to this than I realized. There's more to think about than I realized.
You just realized it was hard. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's something I should really worry about. But
I think that'll deter. I don't think that'll deter the people who would make it in general.
yeah, exactly. The ones who would make it, right? Yeah, it's going to get them there faster. Yeah. Now, what you just said about dripping this content out, I had never considered, and I wouldn't consider in a million years until you said that. And it's really fascinating. I'd love to talk it through and hear more about what you think about that. Because I was just going to release it as you click in, you basically just get straight into the site, and you're straight into the bootcamp, and you're doing it. And then I was going to do my follow-up emails like I did with the main bootcamp, where Laura emails you every couple of days and says, "Hey,
those are effective."
Yeah.
You can do that, although I think it also makes sense to just have that email say, "Now the next lesson's open," or something like that. Especially since you're not, since it's free already, I think people might anticipate it more and be more likely to go through it. I guess you'd have to test it.
But it's going to require some building, so I'm trying to work out, is it worth doing the building?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
I mean, people can go through it in their own time. Maybe I'll just sort of say in the intro, okay, this is the real deal. Like, you are getting the real deal here, and there is a lot of content, and it end to end, it probably would take you 2 hours to go through. So pace yourself, and we'll send you emails to remind you.
Yeah, I would just focus on getting them through lesson 1. Through the context. Yeah, just get them through the context.
Yeah.
And then, then the follow-up emails say, "How about customers?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So Laura's follow-up emails I think will get them going through the course. I've built a real quick stats page so that I can see how many people got to each lesson. So I'll get a clear idea of where people are, stopping. So that'll be helpful. So just about the overall course itself, have you seen? I know that a lot of this stuff is already available on the internet in different places. Like,
sure,
you might listen to a podcast and someone gives you a snippet of information. Maybe someone's blogged about a certain aspect. But have you seen anywhere that has this holistic? Did you say holistic?
Holistic. Yeah, just all fitting together
in a single place like this before. Is this new, or because I know you've read a lot of content?
I think there are some, but they're not the same. They don't have the same perspective you do, and they're not necessarily aiming for the same thing.
Okay.
But what is it? There's YC Startup School. There's YC more indie stuff. There's Fizzle Academy. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Oh, I've heard of them, but I haven't gone through that academy. No.
They're kind of aimed at non-technical people.
Okay.
And they are a paid $30 a month thing, but if you find them through their podcast, you can get 5 weeks for free, which is enough to go through a lot.
Okay. And what did you do the Fizzle thing?
Yeah, I did.
What did you think of the content?
So they had a course that was called Building a Blog That Matters. I thought that was really good. There was also a little bit of stuff about just setting up an email list, some pretty basic stuff.
But that doesn't sound holistic. That sounds like one thing, building a blog that mattered. It doesn't sound like. So the approach that I'm trying to take here is I'm trying to say, look, you are a founder. You are going to be a founder for the rest of your life. This is how best to map out your life's journey as a founder.
They had a 9-stage process. I don't remember all of it, but the first 3 were about building an audience, and then the next 3 were about building a product, and then I guess the last 3 are about scaling a bigger business. Okay. So there was kind of a holistic thing. Okay. It just building a blog that matters, and there was a parallel one for YouTube. Those were the starting point ones. Yeah. Yeah, the very, very starting point was a bit of talking about who are what's the story here? Who are you to the people you're helping? you're not Luke Skywalker. Actually, you need to be Yoda. They need to be the hero. That kind of thing.
Okay, that's nice. That's a nice analogy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was pretty good, but it's not quite the same focus because most of their audience is non-technical. Most of them are building either like communities or ebooks or some, maybe a video course, but not like a SaaS.
So it's still SaaS focused. You got from the course.
Well, yours seems not SaaS focused, but it seems focused on tech people. Like it
Okay.
seems like a lot of the people going through your course are programmers, and maybe they would still make an info product starting out, but they're probably like more engineering focused as opposed to
This is the boot camp you're talking about.
somewhat. Yeah,
Okay.
Nugget
Yeah.
in general, as opposed to
Yeah.
Fizzle. And I feel like a lot of Fizzle's their audience is more like like moms that want to make some money on the side and maybe
Yeah.
like have a lot of like writing experience and could like quickly go into building a blog.
I'm probably going to need to reposition Nugget at some point to a more general product. Like it's not. I get that it is very focused on devs, but I want sort of anyone who would start a startup, like a who's thinking about startups to kind of get into it, but not necessarily moms. So there is a cutoff point.
Fizzle wasn't necessarily moms. Maybe I'm just thinking of like who I saw in the forum. Or
Yeah,
like
right.
The idea is that there were some men too, but it was I would say 90. It felt like 90% of everyone was using WordPress as like their main thing.
Yeah.
And the others, it was like either Wix or else maybe everything on Facebook.
I would love. I don't have any problem with diversity with Nugget. There's a lot of different races, but I do have a problem with female male ratio. I would love to find a way to make it like a 50-50 mix of female male ratio. I don't know how to do that though, but that would be great. I mean, I don't see any reason why females wouldn't get just as much value.
Yeah, I mean, it could be your existing audience. Although I don't know. Like my old YouTube channel, I think I told you this before on this show. I don't remember, but like my current YouTube channel is like almost all guys.
Yeah.
And my old YouTube channel was like the other way around. It was like 80% women. But I was in a different career then. And
because your old YouTube channel was
focus.
about the language, right? The language stuff.
Yeah, it was about like childhood education and learning foreign languages and teaching English as a foreign language, and it was just a different audience, and not too many people followed me from that old YouTube channel to my current one.
Bet. And it's probably also about branding. I mean, the branding that I've done is very sort of rockety, retro rocket type branding, which probably wouldn't fit. At some point I probably am going to we'll do a redesign if it makes some money. But honestly, what I would really like to do is to get this bootcamp out there, to get it on Product Hunt, get like 4,000 people through it, maybe 20 to 100 people sign up to the actual Nugget, and then I can just focus on TaskFlow, the real business.
TaskFlow, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think this a lot of businesses go that way. Like they start off like aiming for like a small niche, and then it kind of grows over time. Like I think Brennan Dunn, who made that ConvertKit course that I really like, he started off like just targeting devs, and then it became like all freelancers, like designers, copywriters, just like everyone who does anything without a full-time job.
Oh, one other final question about this bootcamp. So, as being a Nugget Startup Academy member, that when you join the academy, you get into Slack, you can post momentum updates, you're part of a batch. Well, with the bootcamp, I wasn't planning on any of that, and I had some concerns about setting up any of that into it, and I just wondered, do you think that it's fine that it's just this sort of piece of content that you're looking at, along with the speaks on the bottom of each one, and then just a kind of a pitch page at the end to just say sign up to the Nugget Academy? Or do you think that I should try and create some kind of community from the bootcamp in its own right?
I mean, I definitely think community will help. Like it'll keep people going longer. It
But do I? Is this another case of I only want them to be going longer if they're really going to be dedicated, and therefore they get through this and then they come into the academy, and which already has all the community stuff built in.
right.
Maybe it's just going to make a better community experience for the new people who buy.
Well, you gotta have some dividing line between the boot camp. Otherwise, you'll just gradually pull one thing after another from Nugget into the boot camp until the boot camp is Nugget. And you don't have a boot camp.
Yeah.
So, like thinking about it again, I don't think you need a community for the boot camp at all. What you could do with it, though, is even after people have gone through it all, or even after you've emailed out all of it, you could occasionally email people who've joined it and haven't unsubscribed about Nugget related things that you're doing. Just kind of, as a reminder, and maybe we'll pull them into the Nugget orbit, or, maybe they'll, I don't know if you write that regularly on Nugget, like your blog posts or whatever, but something that can sort of continue on after they've done the boot camp.
Well, yeah. I mean, one thing I was thinking of doing is creating. And this was I said this in the very first show, the very first episode of this. Was I want to create a personal blog. I think that's the next piece, is to create a personal blog and use that as like a central place to post just interesting things. Like I've got so many blog posts that I want to write, and then that will guide people to TaskFlow and to Nugget. Basically, that's going to be the main traffic source for me, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like just get the boot camp out and see what people think.
Yeah, and so I could have a personal emailing list, basically. Join my mailing list. Join the Justin Vincent mailing list, and I will send you interesting thought pieces.
And you can find, like who gets what out of it and how useful it is. It was definitely really useful for that one person.
Should it have at least feedback built into the end of it, like a form to say, tell me what you thought of this? Or should I just, or even for a quick version, email me and tell me what you thought?
Yeah, I would do the form. I would do like a survey with like no more than 3 questions, like multiple choice, and then like a free form where they can write anything.
Okay.
Like just something that they can do in 30 seconds.
Oh, a survey.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Because
maybe I'll just direct them to. I'll use a survey builder like SurveyMonkey or something like that, and just say click here to fill out feedback.
Hotjar is really good for that. Like they put it all on one page, so you can just be like, click this option, and then anything to add. Then people will often put in nothing, but sometimes they'll give quite a bit of useful stuff there.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, there is one other thing I want to ask you. So I need to get on the testimonial of it. Can I do a screen share? Is it all right to do screen share?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it.
First of all, just a tear down of this page, but second of all, I need to get these people. So what I really want is I want them to be
Acme, huh?
I want them to be people who are actually making a full-time living at being an indie founder. And I want them to kind of review the course and then just sort of give their opinion. Any thoughts on how to make that happen?
Well, I don't mind reviewing it. My friend, I'll share it with a couple of my friends who are just about at the full-time level.
That would be super helpful. You mentioned the guy who was the number 1 product hunt guy.
Yeah, Mubs, I was already planning on sharing this with. Now he's not living off of his any of his stuff, because he's been he's been getting a lot of audiences built like very
Yeah.
quickly through product hunt, but he hasn't like I know he wants to do something that's like profitable and maybe someday replaces a job, but
Yeah.
this would be like truly for his benefit as
Okay,
opposed to
perfect.
him.
Yeah, perfect. So, well,
Yeah.
he's exactly the kind of. Oh, that was something else. Actually, let me just stop sharing because I wanted to say one thing. That was something else. So, working with Matteo, who built Painland, we have been working, and we're getting closer to a product for him. I guess I'll just do screen share about what that product is. So we're getting closer to his product, which is HustleJet. He's sort of working in this area of lead building. His first idea was to well, this wasn't. This was there was a he had hundreds of ideas, but
So is this in parallel to Painland?
yes, this is in parallel because Painland he realized can't be his. In the same way, Nugget isn't my thing. He realized that Painland can't be his thing. So
Gotcha.
he's been going through Nugget. He's come up with hundreds of ideas, and he's been zoning in on ideas. He's followed the Nugget plan of action of plugging this into a Slack group. He's now got like 25 people in his Slack group. He's really hustling, and he's getting closer to his product idea, which is going to be he really wants it to be around leads type of thing. And I've really been enjoying working with him. And then another guy that I've been enjoying working with is this guy. Remember I was telling you about him. So basically, he has Izikito, and
Oh, okay. Yeah.
he has Izikito, and he's doing traffic. And I've been really enjoying working with him to help him try and monetize that traffic. And so, what I've realized is I really do enjoy working with these founders who have proven like the level 1 and level 2 indie founder game. Like they know how to build traffic. They're just trying to work out how to monetize and how to grow from there. I would love to have a group of like 5 people like that on a weekly call and just sort of almost like an accelerator, but without funding. They don't have to pay me. I don't have to pay them, but it's just helping them. It's like a kind of mastermind, as it were. Yeah, so that would be super fun to have like a weekly meeting with maybe 5, 8 people like that to mastermind and help them get towards their thing. I don't want any money for it. The name I like for it is Nugget Octane.
Nugget Octane. All right.
And
like
even have a page on Nugget about it, like, and submit who you are and what you've done and why you should be part of this. And I'm not interested in taking a percentage of their business or doing anything like that.
That sounds really cool.
Doesn't that sound good?
It does.
Yeah?
It does.
Yeah.
Because people who can already get traffic, like there's so much potential there.
There's so much potential and all they have to do, it's just a question of refining. And then once they've got their basic, even just their first piece of money that they've made, they've understand how to get value out. Then it's just a question of building. It's just like layering and layering and layering and layering. And if you work with them for a year, I'm sure you'd be able to help them build just directionally. Yeah, because you are
the top of the line.
I think it'd be a great mastermind, opportunity. And if we could get like five people like that, 5 founders like that, it'd be nice to find a couple of female founders as well for that. But I don't know how to access that market. But yeah, so that was the last piece, is like, how do I get those people? You mentioned that you had a couple of friends that you'd like. Obviously, Mubs would be a great person to just go through it to help him. Maybe he'd be someone to bring into that Nugget Octane thing that I was talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the very least, like I'll let him know you've got the bootcamp thing set up. I bet he'll check that out. I have no idea, what else he's doing or how busy he is. He may be like in the middle of some project he's building with someone right now.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
But I'll definitely reach out to him.
Okay, and you mentioned you had some other people who were almost making full time. I've
got a buddy doing like a similar kind of thing I am, except for blockchain. And
okay,
he's actually focused more on the top of the line. He's got a close to 5,000 YouTube followers now.
Oh wow!
And
cool.
I'm a little under 3,000. And he's just doing one-off sales, but he's gotten like really into the whole like Nugget, or sorry, not Nugget, the whole YouTube thumbnail optimization and title optimization.
I bet it makes a huge difference.
Video hooks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like maybe sacrificing a little bit in terms of ability to sell what he's making in those videos in exchange for making it way easier for people to watch them, so it grows the top of the line fast.
Yeah.
But he's had like a couple of really good months now.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So finally, that's everything I have to say. I'm done. Enough about me.
Goals.
Goals. Well, I'd really like Laura to finish editing it. I want to get that page filled up with 6 people's not testimony, review, people who are making a full-time living who basically look at it and go, yes, this is a great starting point for you. You know, some kind of testimony like that. I mean, I don't want to put words in their mouths, but I'd love to hear your testimony, to be honest. Is testimony the right word? I hate the word testimony. It sounds very okay. Yeah. I'd be interested to hear your take. You know, your overall take.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, just I guess get it to the next level. Just ready for pre-release. I suppose I have to build like you said, a survey, a survey, and then I have to make the email follow-up stuff work, which I can adapt.
And an email account for this podcast.
Oh yeah, an email
since
account.
The domain is on you.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Deal.
So with that, I will. Okay, I'll let you write that down, and let's see. I will get it deployed. So that's my goal related to this podcast. I'll publish at least one more video for Alchemist Camp, and not pushing anything for Igniter. So just publish the Alchemist Camp video and get the Reactor app deployed.
I can't wait for the day when 10 people ask for an intro music.
That'll be cool.
That will make me feel like we're getting something done.
Well, if I hurry, if I get two episodes published this coming week, then people will have the opportunity to hear that offer you made.
Yes. Awesome. That'd be cool.
All right. Cool. Well, sounds good then.
Wait, what are your goals?
Week. My goals are publish one Alchemist Camp video.
Yeah.
Get the Reactor site deployed.
Oh yeah.
And that's really it. On the diet side, I'm gonna try to have just 6 good days, which will be tough because I've got a friend with a birthday party, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. Cheers, man. This has been good. We'll also experiment with the format. I think it'd be really cool if it's got both of our talking heads next to each other. I think that's going to be better.
Oh yeah. I'm curious to see that too. All right. Well, see you next week then.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
Till then.